Hello everybody and welcome to our first video in the Excel course. So this is the first video that actually has to do with content that is outside of how to actually manage the course. So this is Excel when you open it straight up. Now we're going to select a blank workbook because that's usually what you want to do. There's some tutorials here that you can fiddle with, but that's kind of what you're in the course for, so you don't need to worry about that. So we're going to pick a blank workbook. This is what you see when you open up Excel. You see a bunch of different columns, all with letter names, a bunch of different rows with number names, and so on. So to begin, let's talk a little bit about formatting. So this is called a worksheet. The whole saved document is called a workbook. Before you do anything in Excel, you should file and then save as, and then call this, save it wherever you like to save things and call it something relevant to what you're doing. Now, in each workbook, you'll have different worksheets. So here we have sheet 1, here we have sheet 2. Probably shouldn't leave them called sheet 1 and sheet 2. If you double click on it, it'll come up and you can call it whatever you want. We can call it class 1 and class 2 if you want. So that's the overall view. Now, when you're actually working in Excel, each one of these blank rectangles is called a cell. There's cells in Excel. Makes sense? Right. Each cell has an associated data type. Generically, if you don't set the data type, it's just going to be regular numeric numbers. So 1 point, whatever, 2.3, whatever. Yeah, they're just straight up numbers. Now, if you want to change the data type, you select the column, or you can select the cell individually, but you select the column, right click, go to Format Cell, and then this comes up. This shows you all the different data types that you can choose from. We can do just generic. We can make sure that it is in fact a number. One that's a little tricky is time. Time can either be like a date in time, it can be a time as in like 1:30, 1:45, or it can be a length of time. And this can be very important if you're trying to do time trials or anything like that. We're just going to leave it as a generic for now. Now, when entering data into Excel, rather, you type whatever you want, and then if you want to move to the right, you hit Tab, type whatever you want, type whatever you want, type whatever you want. Now, if you want to move down rather than across, you type whatever you want and hit Return. It brings you down to the first column in the sequence that you've created. Now, if you want to move down regularly, you hit the Enter key rather than the Return key. Right. Let's get rid of all that nonsense. Now, the last thing that we're going to talk about is moving around in the various directions. If you type in a cell and then hit an arrow key, you move over in that direction no matter what you've done. If you're trying to edit a cell, let's say we want to do this cell, if you start typing and then use the arrow keys, you move over rather than continue typing in the cell. If you want to move around within the cell with the arrow keys, you have to click the bar up here. That's how you navigate Excel and sort of get started. Let me know if you have any questions. Have an awesome day.